Welcome to Success Nation. I'm your host, Gary Ernest. Today I'm going to talk to you the courage to stand after you have lost. Sometimes we've heard successful people, they have talked about failures. They have talked about it is good to fail, and it's good to fail in the beginning. And I understand it is good to fail. But failing doesn't really have a time when it's good. It doesn't matter when you have failed. The only thing that matters is how do you get back up? The courage to stand after you have failed. After you have failed at many things, after you have lost the battle, after you have done you have done your best, but regardless of what you have done to win, you have lost that battle. So what do? You know, some people, after they have lost a battle, they fall into depression. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they had a little understanding of that failure, they would have gotten back up without a problem. And you will say, well, I don't want to fail. I don't want people to see me as a failure. I don't want them to talk about me. And you might say a lot of things about yourself, what you don't want people to say about you because you did not succeed. But what I'm saying to you is, regardless of what they say about you, what do you say about yourself? What do you say about yourself right now? This is a very critical time in our nation. This is a very critical time for the world. Not because you fail at something, not because you were not the winner at it, means that your life is over. Matter of fact, your life has just begun. Because sometimes when you have failed at something, you have to look for an equivalent of that thing to rise back up. Because, as it has been said, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Listen again. As it has been said, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So pretty much what it is your failure, there's a success that is comparable to whatever you have failed at. You have to find that comparable. You have to find that equivalent of that failure and rise. Because your level of failure is proportionate to the level of your success. If you have not failed at anything, you don't know for real what it means to win. Because if you always win everything that you do, you'll realize that sometimes you need to fail to understand what it means to succeed. Because you will cherish that success after you have failed so many times. You will hold on to it more and longer after you have known the road, you have learned the roads not to cross. Because sometimes the failures, the moments of your failure, the moment that you did not succeed at something will teach you the biggest lesson in your life than the moment you have succeeded. Because the body remembers pain. The body, your mind remembers, your muscle remember pain and suffering. Your muscle will remember what you have gone through in order for you to get to that top, in order for you to get to that mountain, in order for you to get to Mount Olympus, in order for you to get to that top, to hold that trophy in your hand. You have to understand what you have gone through and how you rise, how you stand back up after you have lost. Let's say you started a business, and you start that business with a few friends or a few family members, or maybe with yourself, maybe by yourself, you're a solopreneur, you started that business, but you did not succeed at it. And does that make you a failure for not succeeding at that business? Maybe it was just the wrong time. Maybe it was just the wrong time for you to start that business. Maybe you were at the wrong place. Maybe you did not know what to do to succeed at that business. So what do? Do you go back and say, you know what, I would never get in business anymore. I hate business. And I've heard it before. I've heard people say it to me. Oh, man, I can do what you do, Gary, man. Listen, man, I don't. You wake up 4:30 in the morning? Yes. Are you serious? Yes, I do wake up 4:30 in the morning. Why? Some people sleep until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they wonder why they're not successful. They wonder why they cannot achieve what they want. Then soon they meet a little hurdle. Oh no, man, I can do that. That's not for me. Oh, I hate that thing. Oh, I hate it. I don't want it. That's what they say. That's what you say to yourself. Oh man, I don't want it. I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to do it because you have failed at something doesn't mean you're a failure. Because you did not win that trophy does not mean you're a failure. It doesn't. Sometimes just by being part of that game makes you a winner. Just by being recognized as competing in that game makes you a winner. Look at Olympic athletes, right? For example, look at them. A lot of them have spent years training. And did you know that a lot of them, they couldn't care less if they win the gold, the bronze, or any medals at all. The only thing they worry about is to be part of those elite people who have walked and run, who have been part of the Olympics. That's the only thing. And you might say to yourself, man, you went to the Olympics, you didn't win any medals. But you know what? Just by being part of the elite groups of people who could have ever been part of that team makes that person a winner. And sometimes they come back, what they have learned is more precious than what they did not win. What they have learned during that time will be more precious than the trophy they did not get. Because you might say to yourself right now, man, this tough time. I can't do anything. You're not alone. You're not by yourself. Look around you. Look around you right now. What do you see? Yes, of course, you might have a few corporations who are winning. You might have a few corporations who are making billions. But you know what? You have a lot of big corporations who are losing billions of dollars every day. And what they do after the situation, what they do after that moment will dictate what kind of corporation they will become in the future. And it goes the same for you. Your failure is not for you to mope around and say, oh my God, this is the end of the world. How you stand up after you have not succeed, how you stand up after you have failed, that would measure yourself, your beingness. Because sometimes we say to ourselves, I hate to fail. I don't fail at anything. Or sometimes we look at people, we're like, man, this people, they have everything. Sometimes you look at certain friends of yours, you're like, man, he's always on the move. She's always on the move. She's always on the go. He has everything. But you don't know how many times that person has failed. You don't know how many times that person faced that reality, but they could not pay their bills. And you might say to yourself, you know what? I don't want to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I don't want to wake up. If I run my own business, I'm going to sleep all day. Well, if you run your own business, you're sleeping all day, you best believe it, that bank account will be low. That bills won't pay. Your tax won't be paid because you will say to yourself, you know, it's my business. I do whatever I want. No, it's not. It's you and the customers. You have to take care of your customers. And if for some reason you had a bad day, you had a bad week, you had a bad quarter, that's fine. But how you get back up as a person, how you stand up as a person after you have failed, after you have lost that battle, after you have lost that game, after you have lost it, how you stand up measures your level of a being. And you might say to yourself right now, nah, I don't want to fail. I don't plan to fail. No one plans to fail. Sometimes you have to fail in order for you to succeed. No one plans to fail at anything. The only people who have planned to fail are the people who do not want to take risk. The people who refuse to take risks, those are the people who quit before they even started. Yes, you could say those are their failures because you don't know them. You don't know them. You can say, oh man, you didn't succeed. Well, how would you know? Because there's only one way for you to know. Not because that person lost the game. If you spend hours, you spend days, you spend months training, and when you get to that final point, you did not get the trophy, that doesn't mean you're a failure. Look at the time you succeeded at your training. Look at the moments you overcame so many challenges for you to rise to the top. And what you do after you have lost, after you have missed that trophy, maybe by 1 point. After you have lost it, you thought you had it. You thought you had everything, and boom, something happened. It flipped it upside down. It flipped it upside down for you to like, man, dang, man. And what do? I'm going to tell you, don't give up. Do not give up. When you're about to lose the fire within you, when you're about to lose that fire because you have lost the game, create another game in order for you to rise above it. Create another game that is comparable to your loss, but in a successful way. Create something that is comparable to your loss, but in a successful way. Because inside of that loss, you have mastered something. Inside of that pain and suffering, you have mastered something. You must learn to rise. I'm going to give you a personal example by me. And then, as you know already, I always have a personal story to tell you whenever I put out a message. I remember competing. I was writing and competing with people who majored in science and all kinds of high-tech made measures. And I came out of all this people, I won second place. Second place. Mind you, I'm used to winning some things. I'm used to winning a lot. But I stood up as if I won first place. I stood up as if I had won first place. Now you might say to yourself, yo, dude, you won second place. You're a loser. That's what you might say to yourself. I'm going to say no. First of all, I learned what I did wrong. I learned from my mistake. I learned what not to do next time. And mind you, I'm writing something I cannot see. So did I really win second place or did I win first place for my own personal gain. And by looking at it as if I won first place, I didn't feel bad about it. I said, listen, next time I compete, this is what I'm going to do better. I stood up tall. I walked on stage receiving my certification. But it's not the loss. It's not lost. And I wrote a better paper. And that paper was chosen, was nominated for an outstanding undergrad research paper. Why? I was not nominated for outstanding undergrad research paper just because I was good. I was nominated because I learned from the previous research that I did that did not win first place. I learned from there. So what I'm asking you is, what would you do if you have lost something? If you competed and you've lost, how you stand up after you're lost will measure your success in the future. Because you have to understand, your lost is not your last. Your lost is not your last. Your lost is the beginning of a new winning season. Your loss is not your last. It is the beginning of your new season. You have to understand that. Because inside of the loss comes a new season for you. A new beginning for you comes inside of that loss. Look at the trees. Certain times of the year, they lost all their leaves. Then guess what? They bloom right back up because their lost was not their last. So your loss should not be your last. Your loss should be the beginning of your new success, of your new endeavor. Remember, like and subscribe. Click the subscribe button, and don't forget, click the notification button. As soon as I put the message out there, you'll get it. Share the message. Please like and subscribe.